to the channel. This is No Luck Trucking. I'm Matt, and Liz is back there. We have gotten ourselves into a pickle. So this particular pickup is for Fujifilm, and whoever designed the docks has probably never seen a semi truck before in their entire life, especially not one that's trying to back in. So we tried to go in this entrance, which I don't think is the correct entrance, but this tanker truck got in there very, very tight. So I tried, I used every bit of room. It just wasn't happening, especially with the tandems in the hole that they're in. So we fixed that up. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need you to kind of spot, because I can't see. I can see the truck over here. All right, hold that thought. We'll finish in a second. All right. How are we looking on that box truck back there in the dock?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, there's plenty of room. Because I'm assuming you can see the Tacoma.
I can see the Tacoma, and I can see how close we're gonna get to it.
Yeah, but you got plenty of room on the box truck.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep it cut.
Yeah, don't worry at all about the box truck, because you're like a truck and a half from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna start coming out of it.
Good. Yep. Yep. Perfect. Did he say it didn't matter what dock we were in?
I'm gonna
Did he want a specific one?
tell them if they want
The
to.
middle's nice. Oh no, this is close to the gate.
No, it's proximity. I think it'll open. I mean, whatever door we get into is the one that we're gonna get loaded from.
Yeah, the one that you're halfway back in front of right now looks good.
What number is that?
I don't know. I see a 5 on this one over here. Let's see.
Okay, because he said 3 or.
It's marked on a 4.
Okay, he said 3 or 4 is gonna be your best bet. So I guess he was right.
Okay. Yeah.
When you
I can open up the doors if you want, or no, I guess we'll do that once.
let me get out of the street.
On Old Denton Road.
Fun.
That went way better than I was expecting, though.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it was just
Don't you say luck.
purely flailing arms, or how much was it partial skill, maybe? I don't know. I don't want to take too much credit for that, because that was a disaster. All right, let me try to line it up with the bumpers.
I guess you probably need to bump it over a little bit.
Yeah, all right. I can see down the trailer. Oh, there's lines. The lines line up fairly well on this side, I think.
A little bit. They're a little off, though.
All right, that looks good, right?
Yep. Oh, you have the doors?
Yep. All right, so we come into this little place. There's an entrance over there. It did not look like a truck-friendly entrance, but the tanker guy got in. So I'm like, wow, yeah. I had to back out of the driveway onto the street, and I was like, yeah, this definitely isn't it. And then we go down the street. I moved the tandems to give us as much maneuverability as possibly can. And then I go back and I'm like, yeah, there's no way that's happening. And by that time, we had got a hold of somebody in the office, and let's see if we're. All right, the trailer looks good. Tractor's a little crooked, but we're just gonna live with it. All right, so we got backed in. Yeah, so the other gate, I believe that is a car entrance. The tanker guy was able to get in. I like I said, I have no idea how. Probably day cab, because we were pretty close, but it was gonna rub the
and his trailer's a lot shorter.
oh, you had a pretty long trailer. Maybe. We could go measure it.
Pretty sure it's shorter than...
Yeah. But anyways, he was able to get in. So we went around the block, slid the tandems back, and then we came up to it and I'm like, yeah, there's just no way. That can't be the entrance. And at this point, they had a second gate, but it wasn't open and there was no call box over there. So by the time we got spun back around, somebody had come out and opened this gate for us. So we swung in, and the only place to go is into the car parking. So there wasn't a whole lot of room over here. Maybe I'll post a satellite view of it so you can kind of see what the parking lot is. And then he tells me we need to be in the docks back here because there are some on the other end of the building, which are equally as hard to back into. So we had to blindside through the employee parking area, avoid all the cars, and then pull out onto the street to straighten up. It's not a lot of fun, but this one's going to be a little bit heavy. This is a tanker hazmat load. I believe it's the chemicals that you use to develop film. We are at Fuji again. This is our second Fuji run in like a week. Yeah, interesting stuff. This is the kind of stuff that you are going to deal with when you are an over-the-road driver, especially working off of like load boards or spot market. Is you're just going to show up to places that whoever designed it has no idea how a truck actually works, or how much room you need, or why backing in from the passenger side is not the easiest in a sleeper. But we did it. Luckily there's two of us and we have a pretty good system going for spotting and backing in. So interesting stuff. Update time. Still sitting in the same dock, exactly where we were an hour and a half ago. I called the shipping office because the guy that I originally checked in with said it was all ready, it was staged, it was good to go. They were gonna get us unloaded pretty quick. So I called the shipping office. I was like, hey, did you guys forget about us or something? Because we're sitting up here and nothing's happening. But as you can see, everything's shaking. They are loading us now. He's like, nah, there was another truck before you, and I had to get that done and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, do you think you're gonna have us out of here before the 2 hour mark? Because if you don't think you can do that, you just want to go ahead and leave before this turns into a long process. So I let the agent know, they're like, hey, we're at like an hour and a half. We got like 30 more minutes. Because at the time they hadn't even set the dock plate or started loading any of the freight. I said, hey man, we're coming up on the 2 hour mark and we're gonna head out from there if we're not loaded. He said, yeah, they're usually pretty quick. I'm like, yeah, it's not today, but they're loading us now, so hopefully that's a good sign. Hopefully it won't take too long. Still got about 30 minutes before our cutoff point, because after 2 hours, I mean, it's just not in our best interest to continue to wait unless it's something that we really needed, or if these places were better with communication on how long it was going to actually take. I mean, we would consider staying longer, but I mean, we're in the business of running freight, not sitting in front of a dock, unfortunately. And I know everyone who has that mega carrier mindset or the company driver mindset is like, oh, that's trucking, you just wait, but it's really not anymore. The most that we've had to wait was hour and a half typically, or if it's something that are our own fault and they have to work us in, obviously, you know, we wait. But general freight that we book, we show up on time. Actually, we show up early, but our 2 hour clock doesn't start until our appointment time starts. But once we're in front of a door, 2 hours is our max and we're out of there. I mean, just like Just Trucking says all the time, you got to know your worth. You know, in our business, 2 hours is our cutoff point. After that, you're just gonna have to get a different driver to wait in front of the door to get loaded, and we're on to the next load. So, I'll update like I said, I'm hoping it should be done pretty soon, and we'll get the placards on because, of course, this is hazmat and tanker. Those are the money-making endorsements. Well, we just got everything strapped down, got the placards on, and we are at 2 hours and 4 minutes. So they had us done before the 2-hour mark. It just took us a little bit to get it all strapped down and everything, so it's acceptable. Yeah, I love all the comments when we talk about leaving a shipper at the 2-hour mark, how patience is a virtue and all this stuff. But like, man, you just gotta value your time. And like, I'm not mad. This isn't like a I'm gonna show them type thing. It's we get paid to haul freight and not sit at a dock. So I don't know, you got to be your own advocate a lot of times here. You got to be assertive, and you got to let them know the expectations. So I let the agent know in advance enough that he could either get something done, or just so he would know that, you know, he's gonna have to find another truck to carry this freight, because I don't know, hopefully, oh, we're hazmat, so we gotta stop and look for trains. Alright, let's stop at the stop sign. No trucks. Okay. I guess that's a smaller road down there. You can't go down there, but we're going out to the main road. Yeah, so you just gotta be assertive. You gotta be your own advocate, because otherwise, I mean, the agent doesn't really care if you sit in front of a door all day, and the customer doesn't really care as long as you you sit there until they're ready for you. But when you give them the expectation that after 2 hours, you know, it just doesn't fit our business needs to continue to wait. Yeah, and I'm sure you're gonna get the same comments as always, you know, from these long-time truck drivers, that it's part of the game, you gotta learn how to wait and blah blah blah. Whatever, run your business how you want, we run ours how we want, and that includes not sitting at docks all day. If we wanted to do that, we'd stay reefer at a mega carrier. So we got to get over and scale this. This one's like 38,000 pounds, but it's loaded a little weird. So it's in the 8th hole right now. Man, I can feel that tanker slush. Every bump we go over is like being on a waterbed. All right, we're gonna get down the road, get over to the truck stop, get this scaled. We'll probably pick up then. Well, load is scaled. It's legal. Like I said, it was loaded a little weird, so the weight distribution wasn't quite there. Had to move the tandems forward, put a little bit more weight on the trailer side. All the weight was on the drives. So moved it 2 holes, which should move about 1,000 pounds. And found, so I put a little bit of coolant in this morning because it was right under the mark, and I spilled a little bit, and I guess the wind blowing kind of blew it on the step. So we popped the hood to make sure everything was good, do a little check, did a tire check, since you're supposed to check the tires on the hazmat loads periodically. And then I found the bracket that the hood, all right, so the hood sits on these rubber mounts, the isolators, and there's a bracket that kind of keeps it aligned, and that 2 bolts were sheared off, so there's only 1 bolt, and it was starting to back out. So it's kind of wiggling, and it was making a knocking sound, which I saw the hood was wiggling a little more than it should. And then I found a bolt on that isolator between the 2 rubber pads, and that's not supposed to be there. So I figured out that 2 of the bolts were sheared off. One's completely gone. The other was the one in between the 2 isolators. And that 3rd one was trying its best. It was trying so hard. And tighten that up. I'm gonna have to extract 2 of the bolts and put new hardware in. No biggie, but I just don't have the bolt extractor stuff here with us. So we'll probably stop by on the way up 81. We'll stop by the house and get that taken care of. I do need to put a little grease. It's best if you grease them. It stops making noise and doesn't squeak and things like that. And then we made another call, which didn't go very well the first time. So we called Green APU. So everyone that keeps telling us about Green APU, like we've never heard about them, or telling us to get an APU because idling a dev truck, like we've never heard that before, is bad. We're getting an APU, so you guys can stop telling us to get an APU. We've wanted one since we got the truck. It's just they're $12,000, so we had to go with priorities. And with the winter, we could turn the truck off at night and just run the bunk heater, since it doesn't need a constant power source. Uses diesel and a little bit of electricity, but not much. So the first time I called Green APU, it went to this guy. He answered. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in a meeting. I can't talk right now." I'm like, "What?" Like, I called the right number, right? He's like, yeah, call the 877 number back again and try to get somebody else. I'm like, why would you answer if you're in a meeting? And why is the only person that can talk to me about spending $12,000 with them in a meeting or answering a phone in a meeting? But anyways, I called again, and then the second lady was like, oh yeah, you'll have to call back and ask for someone else. I'm like, guys, why is it so difficult for us to spend money with you? So finally she transferred me to the I guess the head of the people that are in charge of installing and selling APUs. So he was really nice, definitely redeemed the experience, because it was not going well. Should not be that difficult to spend money with a company. You know, just the basics. Answer the phone, answer some questions, schedule us, and take our money and put it in, obviously. But yeah, so we'll be there on the 24th, I believe. So we need to just got a missed call. Interesting. Yeah, so we need to find a load. This one is delivering in Massachusetts, so we need to find a load going from Massachusetts somewhere over in the Indiana, Illinois area, which we called on one, but the guy didn't answer. So again, basic customer service, just answering the phone. But we'll keep trying. We there's a few loads that are taking us over there that are decent. You know, they don't pay the most, but out of Massachusetts, I'm not expecting much if we put a limiting factor on where we're trying to go. So we'll get down the road a little bit and pick up. I'm not sure where we'll pick up. Maybe when we switch drivers. I think we're going to try to drive this through the night and get over to Virginia on 81. Maybe Rafine, you know, maybe the second house. Who knows? But we're back on the road. It's time to get up to Massachusetts and get this delivered. We stopped by the house. We're on 81 currently. Stopped by the house, went and grabbed some groceries. Let's do a little pit stop. Took a shower, washed some clothes, bought some things, and now it's time to go make the money. So the bracket for the hood has come completely off. The one bolt that was hanging on gave up. It backed itself out. So I just took it off. I put some rags in between the rubber isolators in the hood to kind of keep it from rocking and keeping the noise down. So we'll see how well that does. But other than that, we'll be home next week, and I'll probably take it over to Peterbilt and have them fix it. Other than that, we'll probably need to grab an air filter. That one's looking a little dusty. As our friend nice being up early sometimes. No cars out on the road. It's pretty empty. Oh, yeah, there's train tracks. We gotta stop for the train tracks when you're hazmat. You gotta stop, look and listen. Go here. Put on the hazards so nobody runs into the back of us. Alright, there is no train coming. All the little rules that you have to follow for hazmat. It's not a ton different. You just gotta make sure your securement's on point. You gotta make sure the bills are printed out correctly, like things have to be in certain orders, or like all the hazmat stuff has to be at the top. You have to highlight the emergency contact number. You know, there's a long list of stuff. Then you got to stop at train tracks. You have to do a tire check periodically to make sure the tires are round and not actively catching on fire. Yeah, like I said, your securement has to be on point. And of course the placards, you got to make sure they're good.
In 1/2 mile, turn left.
There's some other things, there's some little details like where you can park, and depending on what type of hazmat you're hauling, you know, somebody has to be with the truck. Alright, we're going to get down the road a little bit. I think we're going to split today's drive shift. It's 615 miles. So we're gonna park pretty close to the place, I believe, and then
turn left on
try to roll over in the morning. First thing in the morning. It looks like a little small place, so I'll probably film trying to back in. Be another adventure. We just stopped at this Love's, put in some high quality premium go-go juice at $4.19 a gallon, discounted. So we're gonna savor these gallons, try to stretch it out. We've been doing a little bit slower speed to kind of bump that mile per gallon up a little bit, because I don't know, sometimes you just don't get the $4.20 a mile enjoyment out of that gallon of fuel. You know, sometimes it's used to pull up a hill. That's not very fun because you're slow. Alright, what are we doing? Anyways, we're about 400 miles away from where we're going to stop for the night. I believe it's in, did you say Connecticut?
Yeah.
Waterbury? Yeah. Apparently, Willington. Okay, same thing. Apparently it's paid parking during the week and free on the weekends. So we'll sneak in there and get out before they charge on the weekdays. So we'll go deliver, and then we need to find a load taking us over to Illinois, Indiana area. There's been a few, but we kind of wanted to hold off and call on them Monday to see what gets added to the board Monday.
Turn left on Showalter Road.
Nothing's been outrageous enough that we had to call on it and like book it right now. Let's get back out on the interstate. Down the road a little bit and do a little update when we arrive. Maybe unless anything cool happens, we'll update when we switch, something like that. I'm not sure, but we'll definitely video us delivering it. it looks like another little tight parking lot that we're gonna have to blindside into, but not a crazy deal. So that's what we get paid for. Well, it's delivery time. We just got out of the rest area. We are about 90 miles away from our delivery. Woke up a little early to get through some Massachusetts traffic before it gets too bad. Try to get merged on here. Going straight uphill. Hazards, we are doing 36. Made it finally. Boston traffic, terrible. Luckily we were in like the early portion of rush hour, so now we're here to the receiver. It's pretty tight, but I think we're gonna take this time where there's no one here to just kind of park in front of a door and hope that that's the one that they will unload us from. To be this first door anyways, if this is where they're going to unload us at. Room. So we gotta swing over. We're not quite in the trees. That did a little bit. Through the trees. Yeah, I guess we'll get in there. Let's see. We are in front of a door. I don't know if it's the door, but we'll figure that out later. Yeah, there's definitely not enough room here to get a sleeper straight enough to hit any other dock.
Well, remember there are those two docks that were on the other side.
Yeah.
But I have no idea where they're going to want us.
And this started at what? Appointment started at 7.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wait a little bit and then try to start knocking on doors. Yeah, it's part of the job. Professional wanderer. You never know where you're going when the people actually show up.
At least those other two doors, it would be fairly easy to straight line through the parking lot to them if they said to go over there. But if they said to get into one.
An update. Somebody just pulled in to arrive at work, and we caught him before he made it in the building. So apparently we are in the right area. He said that it would take about an hour before they got to us to unload, which is fine. And then to just break the seal and back in. So we did, and now we wait. And Liz is making some breakfast. And we gotta figure out how to, this is the little latch for the handle that the seal goes through. So it looks like, I guess the bolt backed out completely, and half of it was inside and half of it's completely gone. So we need to figure out what to do about that. And then we have to figure out what load we're gonna take next. Also, we got to call on a few and see what we can figure out. We are unloaded. Didn't take too long. Let's see. So our appointment window started at 7. We're rolling out of here at 8:45, which, to be fair, we were rolling the straps back up and fixing that little handle for the door, which we were able to get back on there. So now we're gonna head to a rest area and try to find a load taking us where we want to go. And if not, we're gonna probably start deadheading to New York, and then from there hopefully we can find something that lines up. If not, we're just gonna deadhead over to Green APU, because we definitely need that. It's starting to get too warm at night to not have AC in certain places. Ooh, this load was not too bad. It was like half full steel totes of hazmat material, so it was quite a bit of tanker slosh, but it wasn't too bad. Alright, yeah, this is a little corner. Gotta go wide so we don't go into the ditch. Place a little busy. Industrial park in the middle of like a small town. You know, the adventurous places you end up as a truck driver. And then you are like perpetually lost unless you have like a dedicated route or a local driver. You go to these places you've never been before, and you have to figure out where to go to give someone your paperwork and check in. We'll get down the street a little bit, get to the rest area, and we'll probably wrap up this video there. Well, after calling on a few loads and waiting a little bit of time for new things to get posted up, we got a load. pays $6 a mile. There's going to be a little bit of deadhead. So right now we were giving it another hour. If we didn't find a load, we were just going to kind of deadhead to Green APU, which is near Chicago. It was about 1,000 miles, but figured about $4 or $400 in fuel. But we really need to get there for the opportunity to get it installed. We just don't have a whole lot of time. So deadheading wasn't a huge issue, but we wanted to find something to pay for the fuel. So we found a tanker hazmat load that's paying about $6 a mile. And that'll get us fairly close to the place, close enough. It'll pay for all the fuel at least to get there. So I think we're gonna end this current video here, and we're gonna pick up on the next one. So, thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next one.